Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Charles. Enjoy.
Tamara, Yuki, can you just tell us how you're doing today?
I'm great.
Fantastic. Today was a great day. It snowed here in Knoxville.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I've had fun on Twitter today, which is weird lately.
Honestly, man, things have been very salty lately. So it's good to hear that you're having fun. Glad you're enjoying the weather. I am a SoCal boy, so I hate the snow, but I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. So before we jump into kind of the thick of it, can you just give us a little bit of background on yourselves, what you were doing before crypto, maybe a little bit about how you guys met?
Oh,
wow,
that's like way back. Yeah, I'm gonna throw this to Yuki and see if he even knows.
So all right, let me think about this. So we've got a 19-year-old. So we've been married for 19 years. Mm-hmm. We met when right out of high school.
Uh-huh.
So
we met in high school,
so
but
what?
I wasn't
been together
interested.
for 25 years? 24?
Uh-huh. Yeah, 25. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So
how did we meet?
So my entire life, pretty much.
Yeah. Yes. Most of people on Twitter's entire life.
We
we've
knew
been
each
together.
other in high school, but she had nothing to do with me. I was a nerd.
Yeah.
And I even asked her if she wanted to ride. I had a Mustang, a 5-liter Mustang, and I asked her if she wanted to ride home, and she told me no.
Well,
and I thought maybe having a Mustang would have sealed the deal, but she was like, hell no.
I had a boyfriend.
She was up at the office calling her mom or something, and I was like, you want to ride home? And she's like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, oh, shit.
Okay, so you sounded like you were super slick back in the day.
No.
Tamara's saying that you're a nerd, and you're saying that you were a nerd, but... okay, so that gives us a little background into how long you guys have been together, and I think it really shows with how you guys, act on Twitter and how you speak. Can you give us maybe a little bit more background on now your professional lives before crypto?
Well, still since crypto, because we're not making any money in this crypto space.
We got to change that.
Yes, that would be great. But no, I think when I was 18, Yuki and I had a Christmas party at our house, and I said, you know what, this is fun. I'm going to be a caterer. So being young and naive, I just did it. I didn't, look at competition or anything. I just said, that's what I'm going to do. And I did it. And so from pretty young on, I've worked for myself. I did beach weddings and stuff like that. I had an auto accident, so I hurt my back was pretty messed up, and my neck. So I kind of have constant pain thing going on that I've learned to work through. So in doing that, I did less catering and sort of moved into the more spiritual things and life coaching and helping other people deal with their pain or issues, or just being, there to listen and help guide.
Well, she lives with a crazy person.
Yeah.
And so she gets a lot of practice dealing with, people that have problems and issues. I'm talking about myself, obviously.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's me. But
me, so I've always worked for myself. I've never worked for anyone except for my parents at an early age. I started a business while I was working for my parents, and I left working for them and just pretty much have always had my own thing going since then.
Oh, I want to say that's not true.
What?
You did have a roofing job for the span of 1 week during August in Florida.
Yeah, I was I was probably 19 or 20 maybe. And we're talking 4-story high build, house and concrete tiles in August in Florida. And it was hard, but I quit that job pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like enough of a reason to quit right there.
But and then right after that is when I figured out I was making membership based websites. So I purchased a thing online. It was a book on how to do something. And I was like, you know what? I could sell access to this on the internet. And so I created a website, and this was before Google was even Google. This is how old I am. It was called Overture or GoTo, I think. But so I figured out how to advertise. They started doing the pay-per-click advertising, and I was doing really, really, really good doing that. And just, life happened, some crazy shit happened, and that sort of went down. And fast forward, we've had we had a catering business before, a shop.
You did that little stint of miming on the streets.
I was a street mimer.
I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, I can't tell if you guys are joking with some of this stuff, to be honest with you.
Well, all of it's true except for that last miming bit.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So, but now it's like, so I'm trying to figure out how, it's like I've got the writer's block right now. Like I've done this before. I've figured out a way to make good money online, working for myself. But now I'm struggling trying to figure out what the hell to do. I know I could do it again, but my focus right now, Tamara's got a business. It's doing fairly well. So we're staying afloat. But my thing is I know there's a way that I can do what I'm doing, which is making, podcasts and shows, things I like, producing things, shows and stuff. And there's got to be a way, eventually it'll happen. It's just like the Bad Luck Brian meme. He joins Twitter and it's crypto Twitter, because, because I joined a year ago and it's dying. It's struggling so hard, because people are making so much money in this space, just crazy amounts of money, not that long ago. And I'm talking about people were, being paid to tweet and stuff, thousands of dollars. And, it's that stuff is just dried up. I don't know that I would want to do that, be like a shill, like a person that just, but you know what it's I think it's whatever you can do to pay the bills, as long as,
Well, it has to be okay with you. You have to be okay with it. I mean,
But I've yet to shill anything. I think one time I got paid $30.
Oh, wow.
What?
You got paid $30?
Yeah, someone sent me $30. It was some kind of something. It was like a giveaway or something. That was the only thing I've ever done.
That's
and
hilarious.
I've even tried to reach out to, because there was a time I was like, you know what, I'm going to do what Shill Gates does and these guys that are out here making bank. And I tried. I reached out to people and no response.
I think probably people thought you were joking or you were gonna post it on Twitter.
so a guy DM'd me and I thought it was a scammer, and he's like, "Yo," and I was like, he's like, "Hi," and I replied, "No," in the DM, and he was like, "What do you mean no?" And I was like, "I don't want any. Go away." And come to find out, it was a dude who was paying people to tweet. So I fucked up the one thing, and I posted the DM. I was like, "Hi, look at me fucking with a scammer."
Twitter.
Yeah. And ended up being a dude who was paying people. And so I'm pretty sure I've ruined my reputation. Don't DM him. Don't ask him to tweet for you or do anything, because he'll just,
I think it's a good thing though, because Yuki was struggling with that. He was like, I just don't know that I could do something I just don't know if I can do it.
I want to figure out a way to produce content, make shows, and have legitimate people sponsor me. You know what I mean? I've been sponsored by Huddle Fuel before.
And BitNinja Adam.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten free t-shirts and coffee. If I could just figure out a way to get actual money,
definitely.
That would be great. And it'll happen. I think it's just the old thing. It's just, just keep doing it. And eventually it'll come.
Yeah, definitely. So just going back and kind of recapping some of that, you both have worked for yourselves for a number of years. Yuki, it sounds like you haven't had a real job other than 4 weeks of real work.
Right.
I mean, working for yourself is real work. I don't want to discredit that in any kind of way, but working for the man, I should say.
Right.
So you guys have both been doing that. So kind of making this move to maybe trying to do something related to crypto is, you're no stranger to it. You're just trying to kind of figure out how to make it happen. But I really like the fact that you talked on, having these ethics and really wrestling with the idea of whether you want to do something like a paid shill. Because a lot of people in this space, like you said, there was so much money being thrown around. They just jumped into it as quick as they could, didn't think about, their morals or their ethics or, anyone else for that matter. And they just started shilling, and I know that's a huge topic of debate in itself. I don't really want to get into that. But I do like that you actually sat down and thought about the idea. But, you've kind of said, or you've mentioned that you're trying to figure out how to turn this into some sort of business. And that kind of segues into my next question. can you give us a rundown of everything that you're working on? You have so much stuff that you two do. So for anyone listening, they might want to know, where they can check you out. So just give us a brief overview.
Well, right now the two projects that we have going on is CTMZ. Everyone kind of is familiar with that. It's a fun thing we've got with Albie. He had the idea of doing a TMZ based magazine website, and
that's Voice of Crypto.
Yeah, Voice of Crypto, Albie. And I reached out to him when I saw that immediately. I was like, dude, this needs to be a show. We need to make that. This needs to be a live show where we have, a group of guys and we're all just shooting the shit and talking about what's going on.
A group of guys. I love it.
And a gal. And we've got CTMZ live. And apart from CTMZ, we also, Tamara and I, we've always had a podcast, my wife and I. We started out doing Yuki and the Goddess, and I didn't really like the name. I didn't like the spelling of Yuki, and it's kind of weird. And for like or SEO purposes, a search engine, I decided to switch to Euclid and Oak. So we're doing but we do a morning like coffee thing, and I don't plan it at all. I just get up in the morning and we just talk, Tamara and I. And if people, see that we're live, our friends are in the, the troll box, I'll bring them on sometimes. We had the professor, the guy who invented AI 8-Ball on this morning, and he played some Johnny Cash on his guitar. Yeah. And we just have it's just fun. I have like really bad anxiety.
Yeah.
And if I schedule guests, I dread it. So, and I've learned in the past, like when we were doing my wife and I's project, like I would schedule a guest, and then I'm like dreading it. I'm like, oh shit, I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. So the way I do it now is it's just in the morning, have coffee, and then we turn on the camera and we have more coffee and we talk, and we try to bring people in. But that's you can follow the Twitter account. It's at Euclid. Euclid and Oaks. Yeah, at Euclid and Oaks. And I've got a website, euclidandoaks.com, for all the past episodes.
That's it.
Perfect. So we got CTMZ and then the morning coffee. Those are two great. It's kind of very informal. It sounds like it's more of just a discussion. With morning coffee, it's just in the morning. You wake up, you chat. Whoever wants to come on kind of comes on. CTMZ seems a little bit more structured. So we can kind of get into that a little bit more if you want. But other than that, the biggest thing that I've kind of taken away from what you guys are doing is that it's, it's wholesome, it's fun, it's honest, it's raw. There's not a lot of editing done. You guys are kind of just putting yourselves out there and for the world to see, the crypto world to see. And it's been extremely positive from what I've seen, or at least I take it that way. So do you think you could maybe talk on just, that whole being yourself, not forcing anything, really just being as open and honest and raw as possible, and how that's really worked to your advantage and been one of your better assets in this space?
So everything that I've done, I had a project called Tits Podcast, is called This Is the Show. From that show forward, it's been live. I do everything live on Periscope. There's no editing at all, because number one, I hate to edit. I don't want to record something and then go back and have to mess with it. So I just do it live. So to answer your question about being real and being honest, this is really like the only way I know how to be. I'm just like being myself, and I'm telling, I don't have anything really to that I won't talk about or share. I don't have really any secrets, so I feel like all I can just be is myself, and it's just easier that way. I think it's just easier and not put on a persona and not try to hide behind some sort of facade. I think.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect answer to that. Like, I don't know if it's just because we're both Leos, so I don't know if it's that or just how we are or how we were raised or what it is, but that's all we really know how to do. We're overly honest, like overly honest. So we probably talk about things that people don't even want to hear about, but we just have good conversation together. And And going back to some of the first projects that Yuki did when he first came on Twitter before I even joined him, he kind of made a joke about that. Like it was withdrawals, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like, I'm going to edit this and then put it out. And then you didn't edit it at all.
There was some like long, awkward pauses and
yeah, so it's just kind of his style. I don't know if it's laziness or just that's the Yuki style, probably a little bit of both, but he doesn't edit, you know. It's too tedious for him, probably.
You don't have to tell me. I go through these episodes and I make sure that I sound good and I make sure that everyone else sounds good. So I feel you on the editing part, man. It's definitely a pain, but more back to, you know, what you guys were talking about. You really are just honest and you're yourselves, and sometimes you say you're overly honest, but I think that's what people are looking for in this space. You know, there's all these people trying to fake it, and you know, there's the saying, fake it till you make it, but you guys, on the other hand, have just done the complete opposite. You've said, world, this is us, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And I feel like in this space where so many people are trying to fake it, this is a light, you know, this is someone that people can relate to in a way. And I think that's what has contributed to your guys' large success. I mean, I love it. And I think another thing that really, you know, is a factor in this is that a lot of people in this space are very passionate. They're very interested in the technology, and they get very consumed in, you know, social media and Twitter and, you know, just this whole crypto scene. So they can very easily tell when someone doesn't really know what they're talking about and when they're kind of faking it to make it, in a sense. So you guys do a great job of that.
Oh yeah, Yuki's always honest in that he has no fucking clue what he's talking about at any time. So.
Yeah, I mean, I never came on here, and here's the interesting thing: is literally I suck at math. So the fact that I chose Euclid is ironic because I really do suck at math. But I never came on crypto Twitter ever. Did I ever come on there saying, "This is what you should do. This is how you should trade"? I've always been a shit poster. Like I've always, you know, I love the trolls and I love the shit posters and the memesters and all that. And I honestly, like, if you look at my feed, I never tweet about crypto. So it's, and I've had one of my personal trolls, Tom Holdorp.
Well, that's not his handle anymore.
What is it now?
I don't know, but it was Al Bundy.
Now it's Jack. Go fuck.
Oh yes, that's
Jack GFY. He said name. Like he's like you need to take crypto out of your name because you don't deserve it.
You don't deserve it. Listen, yeah, it's like I say all the time. Like you always hear, I'm in it for the tech, or you know, we're in it for the community.
Well, that's the thing too. Like,
we love crypto, you know, we believe in it.
I believe in Bitcoin but
we're not traders
and cryptocurrency, but I don't trade. I tried to trade. Like I bought Pivx at the top, and
you brought strong hands at the top.
Yeah, strong hands.
He's not allowed to buy anymore. I will do the purchasing from now on.
I don't trade. Like I don't know how, and I don't even know if people are making money nowadays in trading, but you know, I believe in cryptocurrency and I believe in Bitcoin, and I'm a big fanboy of Antonopoulos. And I love the space. I love the people. I love the community. I love that these are technical, nerdy, creative anarchists type. That's what this community is. And I love that. And it's amazing the amount of creative people that I've met. And that's what I care about. And I care about the friends I've made and the community and the, you know, just the connections with real people. It's weird, it's virtual, but then you end up going to a conference or something, and there's Brecky in front of you, Ken Bosak, there's Dumb, you know, and it's like you put your arm around these people.
Bella.
But yeah, Bella, there's real people, you know, and they're just like they are online, you know, it's the same personality coming through, and it's just, I like the people. You know, and I will dump my thoughts out on Twitter. That's what I do. I go on tweeting rants. Like I will tweet out just, you know, I think I've got like 40,000 or 47,000 tweets since I've started a year ago, which is absolutely crazy.
That is insane.
Like I think the math was like 130 tweets a day. So I'm completely addicted to doing this.
Well,
and
not only are you addicted, but you put a lot of work into this. Like you do a lot.
mm-hmm.
You're doing a lot of stuff all the time. He's not just a lazy bum. I mean, he's just not being compensated for the work he's doing. But he's not just laying around tweeting all day. He really does a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm trying to build a brand, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of developed my name, Crypto Euclid, and is kind of a silly content producer. And I'm trying to build like, a show with CTMZ and with Tamarine's Euclid and Oaks. And I just want people to, I don't know, I just like to talk, and I like to make people laugh and think. And I've been through a lot of shit, man. I've been through a lot of shit. I've only got 17 months of sobriety. I mean, and something else I've said too is like I use the community as a means to maintain my sobriety, because it's sort of like an accountability thing. Like I've developed all these relationships and friendships and these projects and things that I'm held accountable for.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't just slip back into the my old ways. So that's it's a very, I guess, symbiotic relationship.
That's a good explanation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the sobriety. I know you get it
Thanks.
a lot, but congratulations on that. I want to go over a couple things that you guys mentioned there, just because I think it's crucial for our listeners. With the raw honesty, talking about buying Pivx and Strong Hands at the top, you're not afraid to put it out there. So many people will talk about how they're the greatest trader in the world, or that they know the most about this coin and that coin and yada, 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 yada. I think you guys, like I've said before, are just very honest, and you've, really made this, you've ingrained yourself in the community. And I think that's the biggest thing that you guys have going for you. I know you talk about compensation and how it hasn't been there yet, but I think you're developing this brand, like you're saying, and the best way to do that is to get ingrained in the community. You have these very close people all throughout crypto Twitter, as it's called, and I think as you develop this podcast and CTMZ, with the live stuff, I think the money will come. But what you're doing that not a lot of other people are doing is really, really building a name for yourself as someone who's looked up to in this community. So I congratulate you guys on that a lot. You're doing super awesome with that. I now kind of want to know what you're most excited for in 2019 with regards to your shows, yourself, crypto as a whole. What are you guys looking forward to?
I want to go back really quickly and just say we actually could have made some money if someone had listened to me like a few times.
Uh-oh.
Because we kind of entered in pretty low here, and back in the end of December, beginning of January, not last year, now the past year. Well, whatever, when it was high, I said, 18. sell. And he said, what?
Yeah, so back when
he said no.
I got into Bitcoin when it was cheaper than it is now, and I didn't buy a lot. I just bought a little. And I started buying a little bit as it was going up. Now, when it got up to like $20,000,
19, yeah.
She was like, sell, like now you need to take profit, and I was like, hell no. This is going to keep going. This is going to go to 1 million. McAfee's talking about eating his dick. This is, we're going to get rich off this little bit of Bitcoin that I've got, so we're not selling. That's ridiculous. Please get out of my face.
Yeah. I think you looked at me like I was crazy.
And, and so if I would have listened to her, we could have sold, and taken some profit, and I could have bought, more Bitcoin now.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's all the way back down to what I don't even know. Today it's like $3,400.
Exactly what I told you. So so now there's a power shift here. He's not allowed to. I'm not saying not allowed. I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm going to say he's not allowed to purchase anymore, and he will be listening to me.
I think it'd probably be a good idea to start purchasing a little bit now. But who knows? It could keep going. Nobody knows. But it's so hard, and you can't kick yourself. I mean, you can't, that's the emotional part of trading and stuff. You cannot kick yourself and be upset because, I could have got it cheaper, or I could have, sold it higher and made more money.
I interrupted your question, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. We were still going over some stuff from the previous question, so I have no problems with that.
what we were excited about for 2019.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, just with regards to the projects that you're working on.
I think if we can, I'm an emotional roller coaster. I'm extremely moody and up and down, and I will probably every single day I will go, you know what? I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like that's just my normal. That's my normal.
It's about every other day.
It's my normal like process. Like I wake up with just dread, just anxiety, just I can't even explain it. It's just as soon as my eyes are open, there's just unbelievable anxiety. And then I'm like, I talk myself down and I'm like, okay, everything's fine. There's nothing wrong. Everything, the tasks that you have to do today, you're going to figure it out, and I'm learning that, it's about like not fearing, what hasn't happened yet, not worrying about the future. And, but to answer your question, I have no clue, because I kind of don't want to think about it. I want to just try to live more in the now and be more like accepting of, what's happening right now. And, just moving forward with what we're doing. I think like you said, we're in a pretty decent position as far as, being recognized in the space as people that are, whatever we bring, whatever asset we bring. And, I think we're just going to keep developing what we're doing and keep developing shows, and hopefully the ones we're doing now just continue on and upward. And
I think we're just going to keep on having fun. But yeah, I'm excited about CTMZ. I'm super excited about the Euclid Noaks. I love hanging out with Yuki. I had to come onto Twitter so I could spend some time with him. Sometimes we just sit on the couch and tweet together.
Yeah, we'll tweet to each other like on the couch.
Yeah.
Though, like for 2019, who knows? Who knows if Bitcoin's going to keep going down? I mean, I'm looking at it right now and it's it's below 3,400. Who knows if it's going to keep, crashing back down? Because no one really expected that. I didn't expect it to go back down. I thought it was just going to keep going up, but naively. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone's kind of like scratching their head now, like, what's going on? What do we do? There's no more alt season anymore. That's like doesn't happen. And there's like, what do we do? I mean, that's why it's so salty on crypto Twitter. Everyone's just bored and they're just fighting each other and eating each other. It's cannibalism, and people are trying to create some drama and stuff. And maybe that's why CTMZ is going to be, a good thing, because there's plenty of drama happening. I mean, some crazy stuff happening today with Silicone, and
that was wild.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff. And Albie was like, dude, we need to go breaking like right now. And I'm like, I was working on the website, and I've been sitting on the computer all day, and I was like, no, bro, I can't possibly go on and do a live show. But I think looking forward to just doing what we're doing and hopefully just growing and just surviving. I think right now, I think that's all we can do is just build and keep building, and eventually it'll happen again. I think everything goes in cycles and it'll go back up. And, we're in a pretty decent position as far as, like I said, as being someone in this space that creates content.
Right on, guys. I mean, so it sounds like you're just going to continue to do what you've been doing, which is having fun, and in the meantime also growing your brand and kind of continuing to work on the podcasts that you are working on. I love what you said about, people being bored and bitter, and that's creating a lot of this salt on Twitter. For anyone who's listening who's on Twitter, what we're talking about. People are just at each other's throats right now, and I think that does have a lot to do with price. I talk a lot about the correlation between price and, how upset people are on social media. And I think it's huge. And then also with engagement and interactions, you guys don't seem to be slowing down, which is awesome. It almost seems like you're, getting bigger as the crypto market gets smaller. So I think the next step for you guys is clearly monetization. And I think that's something that is a slow process, but something that you will slowly start to work on and develop as you've, already gotten big. So I look forward to seeing some of that, seeing what you guys do with that. Sounds like you guys are going to have a super awesome 2019. So I guess just as a last little thing to end it, question to end it. For anyone who's getting started today, they've created their Twitter account. It's a year into this bear market. People are angry. People are upset. Engagement is low. What's one tip you have for those people trying to get into the community right now?
So I will touch on the fact that engagement is low, and it's disheartening. When I'd say 6 months ago, it was unbelievable the amount of engagement. And I think Twitter has tweaked some stuff, like changed some stuff with the algorithm and stuff. And I think, obviously, there's just people are leaving crypto Twitter. So the engagement is very low. But to answer your question, someone who is getting into this space, what I would tell them is there's nothing to it but to do it.
That is so corny.
It is corny. My friend, X-Mongo, Monkey, we call him, he said that to me like early on. Like, I was throwing out the idea, like before I was doxxed, is way early. I was like, yeah, I wonder if I should do a podcast or something. And he was like, nothing to it but to do it. And that sticks in my head.
Sounds
like,
better when he says it.
Yeah, well, you haven't heard him say it.
Yeah, so. But I've seen him. He came to one of our meetup, and so I can picture him saying it.
Right.
And I feel it.
So I think the thing is like, just like you decided to do a podcast and you've done it. You said you've had like 20 under your belt now since
Congratulations.
Since the last time I spoke to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And it's like you figured this thing out. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the point, is having the drive and the initiative and the stick-to-itiveness. You have to just keep doing it. As soon as you stop, you're going to get forgotten, and you're going to fall. It's going to fall to the wayside. There's so many talented people out there, and so much content. It's really hard to stand out. But I think the key is to just keep doing it and keep producing. Even if it's garbage, just do it. Just put it out there, because you're going to learn. You're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I have no clue what works. I'm still figuring this stuff out. All I know how to do is turn a camera on or a microphone on and just be myself. But there's so much more to it. There's marketing, and there's.
I don't think he's talking about podcasts. I think he's saying anyone who just gets on Twitter and.
I mean, regardless, some people are trying to make a business out of it. This is a business podcast, so right. Both really. But yeah, I mean, I love the whole saying there's nothing to it but to do it, and this whole just continue to post. But yeah, if you maybe Tamara, you want to talk a little bit on what people who are just jumping on Twitter can do.
Sure. Yeah. Someone. I hate to say this, pretty smart, a little bit crazy, but just said, don't overthink it. Just do it. If you have a thought, just tweet it. Like, don't, and that's Yuki. Yuki said that. So giving him a compliment, but yeah, just get on there. Don't be scared. And that's horrible for me to say right now, because someone's just going to get on there and not be scared, and they're going to get trolled by one of these horribly mean, salty people on here. And then I'm going to feel bad, but no, try not to let the trolls get to you. It's just like a normal bully. I mean, let's clarify. Wait a minute. Some of the trolls on there are actually not trolls. Like, I've been called a troll. I mean, if you're nicely joking with someone, you could be called a troll, and that's a whole different thing. Or if you're making someone try to think, or there's good trolls and there's bad trolls. So, but don't let the bad trolls get to you. It's kind of like any other bully. Like, if they know they're hurting your feelings, or if they are hurting your feelings, they're going to keep at it. And so just, don't worry about the negative stuff. Just get out there. And there's a lot of great people. Like, Bella was this huge account when I first got on here, and she talked to me. It's like, oh my God, Bella's talking to me. I mean, it's just, if you get on there, these people are really nice. So if you just get on there and you're and you're real, then I think that you're going to, I think
that's the key good. Is just be yourself, and yeah, don't hold back, depending on what your goal is. If your goal is to, develop friendships or relationships or a following, I guess this is what your goals are.
That's a good point. Yeah.
What's your goal? Is your goal on here to create a paid group? Well, then you're going to have to do certain, things. But if your goal, like ours has been, Tamara and I has been, is to develop a community of friends, then I think it's just be yourself and be honest, and
don't be afraid.
And you'll attract the people, you'll attract the people that, the good people that are there that want to see you succeed and want you,
Yeah.
and you're going to attract the like Tamara said the other day, moths to a flame. When you're a flame, and I'm not trying to compare us to like some bright light or anything, but there's going to be the people that just want to, suck that energy, you know what I mean? And that's just, there's people like that even in our own families. And what you have to do is just keep going and just don't let that, don't let it get you down.
And pay group, you probably want to start like a catfish account and show some cleavage.
Yes.
And then, just turn around and probably in 6 months start a paid group account.
Why haven't you done that?
Because that's not me. I would never do that.
I think I just figured out a way that we can make some money. You start a paid group.
No, see, there we go. It's going back to, really just being yourself and figuring out what you want to do and what works for you and sticking to that. So I love it. When I first started, the first bit of content I was putting out were these shitty 2-minute crypto recaps. I'd just hop on CoinDesk or Cointelegraph or whatever it was, find a couple articles and speak my mind on them. And, it never took off, but the thing was I started doing it, and that first episode was so awkward and I felt so uncomfortable, but they get easier. So you just got to keep doing it. And keep kind of pushing on, and eventually you'll kind of make something of yourself and get to this aha moment. Wow, I've kind of made it. So I think just the biggest thing that I loved the most was there's nothing to it but to do it. Honestly, everyone who's listening, please get out there, make some content, develop some relationships. Things have been very slow lately. And the more people who are out there building, the more people who are out there talking, engaging with each other, the better it is for, not only yourself, but for the community as a whole. So I'd really encourage you guys to do that. I just want to thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. You guys have talked about some great stuff. You've kept it, 100, as the kids like to say.
Yes.
You've been true and honest to yourselves and with everyone who's listening. So again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, this has been fun.
I'm impressed. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah, you're doing great.
All right, guys, that wraps up another episode. And I just want to take a quick second to ask you a huge favor. If you found anything in the episode helpful, or it's been inspiring to you in any way, I just ask that you share it with your friends, family, anyone you know on social media, and hopefully we can help them out as well. Have a good one.